Hey everybody, and a warm welcome to a new story. Today's story is called, Do You Know Who I Am? Backfires on Business Owner. From the PROREVENGE subreddit. I hope you like it and will enjoy the time. If you like my content and this kind of videos, please leave a comment and subscribe to my channel. As always, this story is told from the original writer's point of view. The link is down below in the description. Enjoy it. Firstly, this didn't happen to me. I was with the person when they received a phone call about this issue. Then he explained it all to me. He's not on Reddit, so I'm sharing it. It's priceless. Names changed to protect identities. Listed buildings, important to the story. In the UK there is a system for preserving ancient and important buildings. If a building has historical importance, it is known as a listed building. The rules about how it's developed, maintained and improved are very strict. I need to be vague about the work involved, otherwise it's too easy to identify the parties involved. My friend David is skilled in a very niche area of construction. He repairs and renovates buildings using a very old construction method that hasn't been common for several centuries. All his work is on conservation projects and listed buildings. Work was required on a Grade 1 listed property. The overall building work was being done by the main contractor limited. One part of the work is very specialized. The contractor's managers didn't know anyone who did it, so the architect gave them a list of qualified people. The contractors chose my friend because he had the earliest availability. 5 days into the work, the owner of Limited, the main contractor company, arrived on site. He was throwing his weight around and being a noisy dude. David was just doing his job and ignored him. Noisy dude told one of his carpenters to get him a coffee. The carpenter disappeared. Noisy dude continued wandering and gobbing off about delays, costing him a fortune. 15 minutes after the carpenter had disappeared, the noisy dude asked my friend a question. Noisy dude, where is that F-King chippy with my coffee? David, don't know. Noisy dude, go and find out. David, I'm only here for this job, pointing to the walls, I don't work for Limited. Noisy dude, I don't give FK whether you're an employee or a subcontractor, you still work for me. Now go and find my F-King coffee. David, firstly, I don't appreciate being talked to like that, and secondly, my contract with you is to do these walls, nothing more. I'm definitely not a gopher. Noisy dude, oh, you don't appreciate being talked to like that, do you? Which subcontractor do you work for? David, none. I'm self-employed. It's just me. Noisy dude, a F-King day laborer? And you've got the nerve to talk to like that? Do you know who I am? David, yep. Noisy dude, well, you're F-King fired. Get off the F-King site now. David, okay, put it in writing. Noisy dude, FK off. Just get off the F-King site. David pulled his phone out and started recording. David, okay, I'll go. I just want proof you told me to go. Noisy dude grabbed David's hand holding the phone and screamed into the phone. Noisy dude, get off the site, you FKING idiot. You're fired. If you're still here in 10 FKING minutes, I'll have you FKING thrown out. David, cool, no problem. He picked up all his kit and walked away. As he was leaving, the contractor's site manager passed him, ironically with a coffee for the boss, and with a smile said, "Site manager, you leaving early? Bloody part-timers, joking." David, no, your boss just fired me. Our contract is ended. Sorry mate. Site manager, no. No. Let me sort this out. Wait, please. Please, wait. David left. The site manager was losing his mind because he knew something that noisy dude didn't. Only 7 people in the UK are qualified to do the work. They all have a waiting list, and David had been the only one available. By the time he was home, he had 12 missed calls. That was Thursday. 2 working days missed so far. He said he'll go back, but only if he gets paid for the extra days and has a genuine apology in person from the boss. I met my friend when he was getting a call from the site manager saying the boss apologizes but is out of the country, so can't apologize face to face. David also told me he phoned the other specialists to warn them, but they'd all been phoned on Friday begging them to do the job. They're all booked solid. David also phoned the architect to warn him. Situations like this, some unscrupulous contractors try to bodge the job and fake the work. David is going to stick to his guns. Pay for all missed days plus face-to-face apology. He is sure he'll get it. I've said I'll pay anything to watch the face-to-face apology. Update. Site manager says he was told by noisy dude to threaten legal action if David doesn't finish the job. David reminded him he didn't leave and has proof he was fired. Site manager says noisy dude will apologize face to face on Friday. Can he start tomorrow? David said no. Following the threat of legal action, the conditions are different. Face-to-face apology before work restarts. Added pay for wasted days. Payment of full contract value up front before work starts. All must happen by Thursday. That's the last day he can start and still expect to finish before his next booking. If he also works the weekends, he has just enough time. I asked him why he isn't charging a huge extra amount for the guy being such a dude. He said it doesn't look good if you take advantage of companies when they're under time pressure. Not the done thing. It seems that one of my friends is an 18th century gentleman. Correction. I misunderstood David when he said only 7 others do this work. He meant 7 other businesses apart from his. They're small businesses, so he says it's probably about 20 people who can do it. Still a small number, but not as comically small as 7. Sorry for misleading you all about the number. Update 2. Unfortunately, it seems there will be no apology. David has discovered that the site manager was blamed for not making Noisy Dude aware of the situation beforehand and was fired. David contacted the operations director for Limited, Noisy Dudes No. 2, and informed them that an apology is no longer required as he will not be returning to the job. The ops director apologized for everything and offered to renegotiate the money very generously. David told him that he had only considered going back to the job as a personal favor to the original site manager. Since he isn't there, he feels no obligation to return. The ops director said he will get back to David but didn't say why. I asked why he didn't say, "Give him his job back or I won't come back." David said, "Noisy Dude is too petty and weak to be told what to do by a craftsman. It will have to be the company's idea for the site manager to come back. If I tell them to bring him back, it won't happen." David says the site manager is great at his job but is only 4 years from retirement, so it's not easy to find a job at 61. I've decided I like David even more than I did 3 days ago. Update 3. It's 2 a.m. here. We've just got back from the pub. David got a call while we were out from the sacked site manager. David updated the architect on the situation this afternoon. The architect contacted the sacked site manager to tell him about a company who need a site manager. The sacked site manager phoned David just before 9 p.m. I had to sit through the phone call, only hearing one side. I must have looked childishly excited, like I'd got an arsefull of sparrows. Then David filled me in. The site manager rang to thank him and to find out his favorite drink so he can send him a bottle. He hasn't got the new job yet, but he is seeing them on Friday. Apparently, the architect's recommendation carries some weight, so he's optimistic. David refused at first. "I didn't get you a job, the architect did." The site manager said, "But you set all these things in motion and told the architect that I'd been fired. Because of you, I never need to deal with that obnoxious pillock ever again." David wasn't specific about who the obnoxious pillock was. David said his drink is Cardew Gold Reserve. He said he will accept a bottle only if a. the site manager gets the new job and b. if the site manager will come over and drink the Cardew with David. It looks like the handsome scribe who did the enormously difficult time-consuming job of skillfully writing this saga down on Reddit isn't included in the whiskey consumption. As David poetically put it, "Piss off, knobhead, you can buy your own F-King drink." All good news, hopefully, except that nobody gets to see that tosspot, Noisy Dude, feels bad when he has to apologize. I was so looking forward to that. Additional information. David and the fired site manager know each other outside of work. Each are members of charity organizations in the same town. 2 different groups, but they work together a lot. Site manager is in Rotary Club and David is in Round Table. I don't think he's a knight, but you never know. Update 4. Operations director for Limited phoned David to suggest that they take the site manager back and generously renegotiate the money. David says they've missed the boat. There is no way he can finish the job on his own before he starts his next job. There is an absolute minimum of 11 days' work left if everything goes without a hitch. David's next job starts the 4th of November. Only 10 days left if he works both weekends. Too late. I wish I could be a fly on the wall when Noisy Dude is told. The most common question. Many are asking what David does. If I said what it was, it's so identifying that I might as well give you his real name and his address. Sorry. The reason there are very few of them is it takes 5 years to become just competent and at least 9 years to be a master craftsman. The jobs need at least one master present when the work is done. Update 5. Bad news. The fired site manager didn't get the other job. He met the new company, but they're not taking him on. The reasons aren't clear. David is meeting him on Sunday to discuss it. I can tell David feels bad about it even though it's not his fault. Site manager says he's going to take action for unfair dismissal. I thought this was going to be win-win-win, but I suppose life isn't like that. Update 6. News about the sacked site manager. The situation isn't as bad as we first thought. I think we misunderstood what happened on Friday. David talked to him yesterday. The company he saw on Friday are not employing him in the normal way, that part was correct. But they have offered him a fixed-term contract for 18 months on a distribution center build. It's not perfect, but on the bright side it's slightly better paid than limited. It's only 18 months, but that's better than nothing. There is also the chance that the new company might extend the contract if another project comes in. Update 7:7 Seriously? David has heard that they're getting a Bulgarian to come over to do the job. David was grinning when he told me. He thinks he knows what will happen. There is a similar but different technique that was used on some 19th century buildings in Sofia. David thinks that the guy will use that technique. It looks similar, but two very important materials are different. David has decided to wait. He plans to let the Bulgarian finish the job and get paid. Then David is going to suggest to the planning department and the client that they check the two components. Unless the Bulgarian knows the 17th century English method, he will have used the wrong materials. It would mean ripping it out and starting again. They are incredibly strict with this type of work. I shouldn't want this so much, but I really hope this happens. I'm a petty man. Further information. Many people are asking when will David know if the Bulgarian has done the job right. David might know fairly soon, since there are very few suppliers of one of the materials. If the Bulgarian contacts them, David will be told. David's words: it's a tiny incestuous part of the industry and they gossip like old women. Correction, we all gossip like old women. If the Bulgarian doesn't go there, David is leaving it alone until he is told that the work is finished and the Bulgarian is paid. He doesn't want to put the guy's money at risk. In David's words, I don't want the Bulgarian to drag his ass over here and go home empty-handed just because I can't wait to drop silly bollocks in the things. The man's got a living to earn. I'll wait. Just in case of confusion, silly bollocks is the same person as noisy dude. It should take the Bulgarian about 3 weeks to finish the job unless he works weekends. David knows plenty of people on site and a few at ACC head office, so he'll know when the job is finished. So I've got to sit on my hands for 3 to 4 weeks and pretend I'm not an excited 7-year-old girl pissing her pants about Christmas coming. Update 8. David has been told that the Bulgarian got straight to it and started work. He's had materials delivered, but from an ordinary building supplier. The stuff he needs to do the job properly is too bulky for him to bring with him, even if they sell it in Bulgaria. He hasn't ordered it from the UK supplier. There are 3, but only one has enough for this job because they got it in for David. So, unless it is coming by road and ferry, he is not using the right materials. David wouldn't allow it to go unreported even if he wasn't annoyed about noisy dude. He's got a genuine passion for looking after all these buildings he works on, and he is a purist when it comes to historical accuracy. So now I have to hold my water for 3 to 4 weeks. David says that if he's using more modern materials he might finish sooner. 3 weeks is the time it takes if you stay in the 17th century. I've turned into a bit of a weirdo about this job. When I phoned David earlier on a pretext, he realized I was after info again. David, FK me. Do you want me to fit a bodycam so you can see and hear everything as it happens? Me, if it's not too much trouble and you can link me into your phone calls. That'd be nice. David, after laughing, UF King Notchies. Is it okay if I cover the lens when I'm on the toilet and shagging my wife? Me, personally, I don't do those two things at the same time, but whatever floats your boat. David, you're telling me you do them separately? When are you shagging my wife? Me, right after she's cleaned all the things off the sheets from doing you. Some of us are fussy. David, get off. You're an uptight clean freak. Hangs up. No goodbye, no see you soon. English manners aren't what they used to be. I know it doesn't look like it, but honestly, I do have a life. I promise. Update 9 will probably be a few weeks. What do you think about this story? Tell me your thoughts in the comments. If you liked the story and the content, please leave a like, subscribe and share this video. Also have a look into my playlist for more entertaining stories. Thank you and have a nice day.